Alice in Wonderland has traveled far from its storybook beginnings, from English pages to stages and festivals across the world. It's a place where clocks melt, rules shift, and every character carries a touch of magic. Tonight, that world opens right here in this small Chinese city. The square transforms into Dreamland. Two towering figures rise above the crowd on impossibly tall legs, one dressed in soft pastel colors, decorated with gears and gentle steampunk details, the other in dark, dramatic tones with roses, gold ornaments, and the bold elegance of a fantasy queen. They aren't the classic white and red queens, but creative Wonderland queens invented for this show, light and shadow brought to life. Below them moves the Hatter, a playful character with bright orange hair and a wide, whimsical hat. Instead of a teapot, he carries giant scissors, snipping the air and making children giggle as he dances around them. A silent warrior stands nearby, a strange, ornate guard from this reimagined Wonderland, holding his post with theatrical seriousness. And then the giant orange cat appears, their own version of the Cheshire Cat. Huge, friendly, rolling forward on hidden wheels, its head turning slowly as families laugh and reach for photos. In China, shows like this are celebrations. Parents bring their children to meet the characters, to touch the costumes, wave, laugh, and interact. Actors respond with warm gestures, candies, gentle movements. Always smiling, always inviting everyone into the story. For a few minutes, the whole square becomes a shared fairy tale, a little wonderland where families gather and where simple moments feel like magic. And now, let's leave Wonderland behind and wander into the old town, where real history and culture wait in every corner. As we leave the lively square behind, the sound of the show slowly dissolves. And the world becomes quieter. It feels like stepping through a soft curtain, from Wonderland into a place rooted in real stories and old memories. The DongXi Lanes welcome us with a different rhythm. Here, footsteps echo lightly on stone paths, and the air carries the warmth of evening lights. Shops lean close to each other, their signs glowing softly in the dimming sky, as if inviting us to slow down and look a little closer. These narrow paths between the little shops reminded me of the old market in Samarkand. The ancient heart of the Silk Road. There you can step through a shop on one street and suddenly appear on another, and after just a few turns like that, you might disappear into the old town completely, just like a wandering hero from an ancient Silk Road story. Tiny cafés spill warm light onto the street, their windows fogged with the smell of tea and fresh pastries. The scent of street snacks drifts gently through the air, grilled skewers, sweet cakes, roasted chestnuts, a quiet reminder that food is part of the soul of these old alleys. As we move deeper into the lanes, the path narrows. The shops press closer together, their roofs leaning inward as if whispering old secrets. At night, red lanterns hang in long lines above our heads, glowing softly. Their light isn't bright, it's warm, almost protective, the kind of light ancient travelers once trusted to guide their way through busy marketplaces. Lanterns like these have been part of Chinese streets for over 1,000 years. In the Tang Dynasty, people hung them during festivals to show joy, bring luck, and light the roads for evening gatherings. Some believed lanterns kept wandering spirits away. Others simply loved how they turned every street into a small celebration. People wander without hurry. Some pause to taste something warm, others stop to admire handmade souvenirs, woven bags, little carved animals, painted fans that flutter like small stories in someone's hands. Everything here feels personal, crafted, touched by human hands. some corners of Guilin, especially near the old streets and the river markets, you'll see women dressed in bright, traditional outfits, the kind designed mostly for tourists, inspired by the old styles of the local minority groups. Their clothes shine with deep blues and reds, stitched with patterns that echo the mountains and the rice terraces. What always catches the eye, though, is the headgear. A wide, decorated silver headdress, full of hanging pieces that chime softly when they move, little metal leaves, flowers, bells, symbols of luck and blessing. Sometimes they're real handmade silver, sometimes they're light aluminum copies made just for photos. But either way, when the sun hits them, they glow like something from a festival long ago. Most of these outfits aren't worn in everyday life anymore. They're part history, part performance, part souvenir. But when someone puts one on and stands under the old wooden rooftops of Guilin, it's hard not to feel a small echo of the past, a reminder of the Miao and Dong traditions that shaped these lands. Even if the costume is modern, the spirit behind it still feels ancient. At every corner, something new appears. A lantern glowing against an old stone wall, a cat resting on a doorstep, a tiny shop filled with books and music, or a quiet courtyard tucked between buildings. The lanes twist gently, as if guiding you toward whatever you're meant to find tonight. Even when the street becomes busy, there's a softness in the air, as if the lanes hold their own peace, shielding visitors from the noise of the modern city outside. You feel safe here, you feel unhurried. There is something timeless in this narrow passage, a feeling that you're stepping through a doorway where modern life and ancient China brush against each other in the glow of every lantern. And this is the magic of DongXi Lanes. You don't walk here to reach a destination. You walk to feel the texture of old stones beneath your feet, to breathe the evening breeze, to watch life unfold in small, beautiful ways. Moments slow down, thoughts settle. Walking itself becomes the experience. As the lanes narrow, the path opens into another world. Through DongXi Lanes, we walk straight into the ancient outer wall, a massive Ming Dynasty perimeter that once protected the whole royal compound of the Jiang princes. These stones have been here for more than 600 years. Some were carved by hand, dragged from the riverside, shaped by workers whose whole lives were spent building walls like this. If you look closely, you can still see the old tool marks, thin cuts, uneven edges, the fingerprints of a vanished time. Storms washed over them, wars passed near them, dynasties rose and collapsed, but the stones remained. In the Ming Dynasty, this outer wall wasn't just a boundary. It marked the divide between the ordinary life of the city and the quiet world of the prince. Outside, merchants shouting, soldiers marching, families moving through the daily rhythm. Inside, scholars practicing calligraphy, guards patrolling in silence, attendants carrying scrolls across courtyards. Morning bells once echoed here. Lanterns once shimmered along these walls like small golden stars in the night. Behind this first wall lies a wide inner valley, almost an old town hidden inside the city. As we step deeper inside, the space opens gently around us. It feels calm, spacious, almost untouched. Centuries ago, this valley was full of activity. Messengers running with bamboo slips, horse carts rattling over stone, gatekeepers calling out orders. During festivals, lanterns filled the air. During imperial exams, nervous scholars walked up and down these paths reciting poetry under their breath. Now the modern streets have disappeared behind us. The city noise fades to almost nothing. Your footsteps soften and the air carries a kind of quiet that only places with long memories can hold. We follow the long alley ahead of us, shaded by ancient camphor trees. Their trunks twist like old stories, their roots gripping the earth with centuries of weight. Some of these trees have watched more history than any building still standing in Guilin. And at the end of this valley rises a second, smaller inner wall. The entrance to the true heart of the residence, where the Jiang princes lived beneath the solitary beauty peak. This inner wall guarded the most sacred part of the compound. Only high-ranking officials could pass its gates. Inside were the prince's living quarters, his gardens, his teachers, and the scholars he brought here for study and discussion. Everything inside followed the rhythm of the royal household. And now the path leads us gently out of the old town. The quiet calmness of the walls fades behind us, and the city slowly returns, soft footsteps, soft voices, soft light. Another walk ends, but the feeling stays. A small mix of wonder, calm, and the quiet charm of Guilin's ancient streets.